Brilliant. All right, then. Fair enough. Okay, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Transformers the Show. In the absence of Paul, you're stuck with, well, I was going to say as four, but Alexis has gone full Alexis and disappeared. But either way, welcome to Transformers the Show. Hit it, Jamie.
May I have your attention, please? The captain of your ship! I'm sorry. When you found this away! You left me broken hearted! But I never loved you anyway! No, I never loved you anyway! No, I never loved you anyway! No, I never loved you anyway!
Beautiful. Good evening. Welcome to episode 171. I think that's right. Yeah, it's at the top there. Should be reading it. 171 of Transformers the Show. And this is what happens when somebody drops presenting on you just before you start. So on tonight's show, we've got all of the usual gubbins. We'll be having a discussion later on, what was our discussion again? Vintage toy shops?
Yes.
Have I got that right, lads? Yeah, it is. It's vintage toy shops. We'll be doing a special foreplay on our favourite vintage toys or vintage toy shop pickups. So we'll have a little bit of a crossover there. Excited to see what Alexis has pulled down from his attic. And we've also got a special guest this week, which is, of course, Pete, who we all know and love, but it's a special day, kind of, for Pete. What is it, Pete?
It was my 21st yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just say, Pete,
So everybody in the chat should be saying happy birthday to Pete.
In our chat room, when people started wishing you happy birthday today, I was disgusted that they weren't wishing you happy birthday yesterday on your actual
Exactly.
birthday. But I held myself back. I didn't say anything, but I know who you are, Alfire and Rohan, but we wouldn't mention you.
Real friends. Anyway, so, as usual, we're going to crack on with the news. So let's hit that news.
Oh, hang on. Sorry.
I got some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
Sorry, needed a second.
I think what I love most about that was just hearing your wife in the background going, "What are you doing?"
I was like, "Shit, what's going on?"
We were doing that too.
Get back in the basement.
Anyway, where are we? All right.
Second.
So we're going to crack on. The pre-orders have gone up for the Titan Nemesis. I think most people watching this will be aware of this. So we got kind of the official finalized pictures of it, which I'm just going to flick through. I'm not going to dwell too long on any of them, but obviously chime in as you want to as we go along. Proportions.
Alexis will be kind of busy doing the chat just now, so yeah.
Running the chat. There we are.
Yeah.
Proportions was a word that came up in a lot of people's, I don't want to say complaints, but comments about this. So
I think Pete looks perfectly fine. He's a well-proportioned lad, a bit too tall. Don't like that, but
Right, I see how tonight's going to go. Excellent. However, I'm not asking you to buy me for 220 notes, am I?
No.
Yeah.
220 pounds. I mean, I realise inflation, but Jesus.
It's verging on stupid, isn't it?
The thing is, though, right? In the end, are we all going to get it at some point? Maybe not for 220 quid, but are we all going to get it at some point?
Yes.
What do you think, Alexis? Do you think you'll get this?
I was chatting to Mothman about this from PC Toys, Primetime Toys, and I was saying, should I pre-order this? And he said, nah. He said, obviously, I want it because I'd love to have it as a display item in ship mode. It's just, I think it's part of Transformers nostalgia history. Like it was part of the episode 1, season 1, the original like 3-part. It's really cool. I've never transformed my arc, so I get it for that. If I can display it properly, right? The Thunder Divorce is going to go back in this box in the loft shortly because I haven't been able to display it. So, at the moment, if I bought it, I wouldn't have it. So I'm going to hold off It'll be something I'd like to find at a later date. But I think it's really well done. Again, I can't. It's £220. It's a lot. There's a lot
Couple of
gone
rounds
into
in the
it.
Hilton.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how it looks like it's
Maybe a round.
How much was the arc? Arc was about half. Arc was 130, wasn't it? So it's like
Yeah.
a £90
Yeah,
mark,
something like
right?
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's.
they've gone up massively.
I mean,
I
it's a quality.
150, 160. I think is probably the right mark for it.
It's obviously a quality item, and I love it aesthetically. I think the fact that they've created a new character out of it is amazing, but I just feel like Hasbro are mugging us off. It's so much money.
I think personally, I'd like to see it go for 300 quid. Let's see who the true Transformer fans are. Let's...
good old
Transformer.
elitist Lord Miguel.
Yeah, I was going to say the elitist hobby.
Let's separate the wheat from the chaff.
But I honestly can see people's reservations. But seriously, if the quality control is getting better, if there's actually more gimmicks in this, which appears to be, then to me it's starting to be worth that price which we ask for. Because normally we start going, third party, give us guns, which is 30 or 40 or 50 quid. So straight away I'm starting to think, well, that's 50 quid onto this sort of price. And that's something which a lot of Hasbro collectors have been screaming at Hasbro to do. Put in extra stuff, charge more, we'll pay it because we're buying the stuff, then we're going to third party to get it. But I want to see that quality there. If the quality is just pish, then I will agree with everyone. I'm going to buy it and find out myself straight off the mark. But I can see why people would wait because of what you've had at Game and you've had with Independence, cutting that price down. I can see people playing the waiting game and fair play to you. Hopefully it's not like in a Mega Supreme situation where he just doesn't go cheap. But yes, I can see why people would wait.
Well, you can get him cheaper, can't you? I mean, isn't the 220 from Hasbro Pulse? I think some of the independents are selling for
200. And it's almost like they're strangling the independents. The independents are like losing because I don't think that Hasbro are going to do a deal on them, are they? To independents, they're just going to get less of
I
a
think
profit.
they're finding it harder and harder the independents are finding it harder and harder to get. And some of them, from some of the posts they've put on, are fed up with it and maybe looking to source things from kind of middlemen, middlemen, so that they can, avoid having to go directly through Hasbro. But there's a comparison shot that was from Sam from the design team. He put these up on Instagram, I think it was, during the week. So you get a shot of the Nemesis next to the Ark. You can get an idea of the scaling there.
The mass is incredible, isn't it?
It is beautiful, though, I think.
The one thing I want to know, one thing I'd like, right, from this is a third-party company to make the link between the two ships, like it had on the first episode.
And like charge £60.
100, Jane. 100.
Pay all day long. Clear plastic.
Make it gold plated. Let's just gold plate it.
Anyway, so there it is. There's the Nemesis. I think a lot of people have already pre-ordered it. There will be some who are waiting for the price to drop, and that's fair enough if that's what they want to do. It is. It's the Nemesis. I'm gonna have to buy it. Whether I get it for 220, 200, whatever, I am gonna have to pick it up just because. Yeah. I love the ship mode. The robot mode doesn't look as good as it did when it was the test shot, which I find a bit surprising. I thought the test shot looked better and had more bulk to it than this. But yeah, maybe that's just me being fussy.
Do you know what I think Hasbro should do, and Independent should do, is I think when you first buy these things that you should get a point system to it. And that can add to deductions. So people...
Loyalty.
So people aren't saying, I'm going to hold off. And then, might create a ripple effect, which we don't want.
Interesting thought. This
one thing I'll say, I hope there's not a lot of news, but also I've forgotten my train of thought. So I'll come back to that.
So this is supposedly a leak of a test shot of a legacy Bludgeon from the Tarn mold that we've already had. As you can see, it's well worth looking at with its strange color scheme and missing head.
I'm not going to buy this. Not in that
I'm not going to buy it like that.
Hasbro's QC has gone down the toilet.
Yeah.
Look at the
Oh, no, that
state
is
of it.
just his head. That's just what his head's going to look like now. It's just going to be the
not unless it's gold plated and has a connection with the Nemesis.
with one red tray and a random sword. It's samurai-ish, I suppose, and then
Sword.
Sorry. We've had more photos of Toxitron, in-hand photos of Toxitron, looking fairly nice. I like the color scheme. I mean, I can't comment on for the rest of you. You might not be fans of the color scheme. That's perfectly fair enough. You are entitled to your opinions.
It reminds me of the tank out of Fortnite, which gives the health and the shield.
I don't know. It reminds me of, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm hungry, like a gingerbread man. I could eat sweets. I don't know. I'm just looking at it and just think to myself, maybe they should make, I don't know, a transform out of randoms. I don't know, these colours, shagadelic colours, it's a bit too much for me tonight.
Are you saying, Jamie, are you saying, Jamie, transform as fast as you can? You can't catch me on the Gingerbread Prime?
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Because he's
and on Pete's birthday, Alexis.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know who I'm more disappointed with.
Anyway, we crack on. So there he is, and you know.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Whatever, Pete. Whatever, Pete. No,
I'm guessing Alexis is in control today.
I'll let you off.
Yeah, Alexis is just doing. That's why he interrupted to say he'd lost his
Oh, good. Right. That always goes well. And then we've had, obviously Takara doing these kind of expensive, I don't know if it's expensive, but these repaints with fancy paint and all the rest of it of some of the Kingdom figures. And we've got Cheetor.
Same price as before?
It's a 2-pack, so I don't know what the price is because it's in Japan. And there's Waspinator, and again, apparently it's, what do they call it? Premium finish, I think they call it.
Yeah. Plus, it's going to be premium cost, isn't it? Because they'll be importing it from Japan.
Yeah.
It does
really
look
good
good in the photos.
That looks good.
I think Waspinator looks pretty good, but I don't know how different that is from the original without seeing them side by side.
Wait. I can get the Fighting 30s one quickly.
Okay, we'll move on.
I've got it. Go back.
I'm not sure that really sorts it out for us. But cheers anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's miles better.
I
Cheers.
can see the difference. Yeah, that was
yeah.
worth it.
That was definitely worth it. Cheers for that.
Yeah.
No. It looks very similar to the Fighting 30s. I think
Not all heroes wear capes, Alexis. It's just,
It's almost like it already looked similar because it's the same character. But anyway, it's we'll see whether it's any good. I'm some people.
What do you think of this, Pete? You've not put your input into this, Pete. I think we should deserve to hear it.
I think Beast Wars Annual.
I have no interest in Beast Wars whatsoever.
Is that because there's no sailors there?
Yes. If you aren't producing
the sailors again,
if you aren't producing an unrealistic scale aircraft carrier in your range, I'm not interested.
Well, we appreciate the honesty. Now, this was a bit of a random one. So this isn't actually a new figure, but it was newsworthy enough to be on some of the sites. Now, I've got to go back and scroll back so I can
read this?
Get this right. So this was a lucky draw, I think it was, in Japan. In 2004, there was a competition to design a color scheme for the Energon Optimus Prime toy that you could get at the time. And this, I don't know if it was the winner or if it was like an amalgamation of different designs, but this was what came out. And apparently they only made 8 of them. And many collectors had never even seen this thing. So this is it. So for anyone who likes their Unicron trilogy and is interested in these kind of oddities, I want to say it's lucky draw. I'm doubting myself, so I'm going to have a look in a second just to check. But this is the color scheme that got chosen, and apparently only 8 of these were produced. Which, when you see the color scheme, you'll understand why.
I was going to say, yeah.
God.
There's Dad Bod Optimus as he is, and yeah, I mean, see, I don't mind the Energon toy because, like. Exactly. It really is, though, isn't it?
Wait. Mick, what do you think of this? What do you think of this, Mick?
I feel like I'm seen.
That's right.
This figure.
Wad. Doesn't make sense, Mick.
Chunky.
Bwad. Very bwad.
With no fashion sense.
But I suppose it's kind of, it links in with, we've had the fans hobby one recently, all
Representation's
getting it, haven't
important.
we? But there it is, and I think that's got a quite well loved toy for Unicron Trilogy fans. So to see it in those colours, something a bit
It's
different.
quite cool.
And only 8 of them. You'd be
Different,
mad
isn't
if you
it?
do
It's
have
different.
one.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be worth some money, wouldn't it? Probably about the same price as a Nemesis.
But can you put price on love though? Because
Yes, apparently in certain
Yes.
places.
Yeah.
But let's not discuss that.
100%.
Hey,
Let's not bring up sailors anymore. No more sailor
Jay,
chat now.
whenever I do throwing piss poor for Sam, I always say to her, "It's made with love," and she knows if I lead with "made with love," she means it's really shit. But it's come from the heart.
I mean, she's a lucky woman. We all understand that. Clearly. Anyway, I can't find the post. I'll look for it later on and
She took one for the whole. She took one for the whole of. Yeah. Hey, if it wasn't for her, it wasn't her. I'd be still out there with other.
All I heard
other
was she
lucky
took
women,
one and something about a hole. What are you on about now?
No,
Let's not get
yeah,
personal.
Join
Oh,
us
there you go.
online to find out more.
The whole
Transformers,
Earth, I said,
Superlink,
whole Earth.
Grand Convoy, Energon Optimus Prime in custom color version for this competition that they did for Lucky Draw offered by TV Magazine in Japan all the way back in 2004. So that's what that Optimus was. This is a leak apparently of the upcoming Robo-Sen transforming Grimlock. So we've had Optimus, obviously, Bumblebee, I think we've seen from the movie one, and we've seen another Optimus, which is from the movie one. Although I'm not sure if they were transformable. But anyway, this apparently is their take on Grimlock, G1 Grimlock.
I actually quite like this, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm not saying this just purely because I'm trying to suck up to Robson, but
If you're watching,
I know, but link you in,
You're a
so
great
you will
fan.
watch. Yeah, but I think it's cool because even if you're not a Transformers fan or you don't recognize Optimus Prime, you know that you have a transforming dinosaur, and everyone loves that. So it will be another sort of good sort of centerpiece to have. And the thing is, I think a lot of us, I think a lot of us look at these toys and think to ourselves of, oh, it just transforms and it does a lot of gimmicky signs, but it's actually quite a bit of high-tech machinery. You can program it to do different moves. You could program it for different voice responses. You know, there's a myriad of options which you could only increase as the amount of users and the creativity increases with these type of toys in this sort of community now, because when you look at it, you're buying a robot.
I think it's it's a very good representation of G1 Grimlock.
Yeah.
I think that's undeniable. It's
Yeah,
we'll see what the price is like. I mean, ultimately,
it's
and these are strong, sturdy things.
Do you know what,
that was a lot
Jamie? When they do a transformation, transformable, self-transforming Megatron, I'm in.
well, thank God for that.
Would you
You
want
know.
it as a tank or a gun?
No,
That's the thing.
Oh,
on
good
the-
question. Tank or gun?
On a sincere note, though, I will be picking up the Grimlock because Grimlock is one of my favorite characters, and my little boy loves dinosaurs, and I might be able to get away with it for his birthday present that he'd never touch.
Actually, you would want to program this thing because you know it comes with an app, and you could go in there and you could program in moves, and it's a complicated moves. You got like easy, you know, different cursors. It's like it's introducing you to sort of computer programming and working with robotics.
My boys do coding. My boys do coding on Roblox. They're 6
So
they'll love it. They'll love
we
it.
need to
you know.
we need to move on a little bit because we've got tons of news, and I know how much Paul, if he was watching this, would be screaming and tearing his hair out
Jamie.
right now.
I
So.
like this conversation flow. We'll chat offline.
So, Mark from Hasbro shared in-hand photos of his copy of the upcoming Transformers Evolution Legacy Armada. Superlink Optimus Prime, whatever you call it.
Mark doesn't seem to have QC issues in his toys.
He doesn't. Funny that. It's like he picks and chooses the best ones for himself.
It's
No, I'm
the
only
seventh
joking. We love you, Mark.
iteration he's
We
had,
love
though.
you. Yeah.
Interesting question,
He sent
right?
6 of them back.
Yeah.
One time in.
It's not good enough for Jamie. It's not good enough for me.
I do quite like that shot.
That's a good shot. We know how Mark does interviews with people, fans of the show like Toys R Us, right? Interesting though, like when he does these shots, how many of these bots does he have? Does he have 1 or does he have 10? Because obviously QC issues, right? And does he transform it? Does he have 1 for each mode, 1 for each? It's an interesting question, right? Because his shots are flawless to some respects, right? So
You're not
they're
suggesting
very
stealing
good shots.
some from the shop floor, eh? That's terrible. That kind
No,
of
I'm suggesting that
reputation,
he
Alexis.
has.
We can't be
he has-
throwing those
he
kind
has-
of things around.
To save
Um,
time, he has multiple renditions of the same character.
I would say if the
Different poses.
designer of the toy can't get a copy, there's something wrong.
Definitely. Although he did mention in one of the live streams that for some of the figures he struggled to get hold of them as well, so must happen. Anyway, his Studio
mainstream.
Series Rhinox from Rise of the Beasts. There he is in his box. There's the back of the box.
I like this.
And these pictures were supposed to be together with another figure that's coming up, but instead we got hijacked by Earthspark Grimlock, which is just broken in the last hour or so. So this is the deluxe Earthspark Grimlock.
That looks quality.
Is
Maybe
deluxe
that
the same
shot for
size in
Alexis.
their category? Sorry, is deluxe
Similar,
is deluxe
yeah,
the same
similar.
size?
I think
It's the
the
same size.
the size classes have become quite uniform mostly.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, deluxe is deluxe, and is deluxe quite big for a Earthspark, or I think on my Voyage.
I don't collect them, Alexis. It's deluxe. It's deluxe. Go pick up a deluxe figure. It'll be about that size.
Deluxe,
5
is it
inches
Voyager
or something,
deluxe
probably.
leader.
Andy, is deluxe spelt the same way in Earthspark as
No,
it
they
is
spell it
in
with a
Legacy?
Z because they like to be down with the kids. I don't know. Anyway,
Pete,
and
you
this
ain't
is
that far away
what
from
was
me,
supposed
Pete.
to be
I'll
with
come down there.
Rhinox.
I'll Uber down there, Pete. I'll Uber.
So this is Gamer
Show
Edition
long, mate.
Megatron.
Uber long,
For
Uber
God's sake,
short.
shush. Stop talking. War for Cybertron Megatron. Anyway, there's the back of the box. It's all over some of the websites. You can go and look at it without being interrupted if you want. There you go. And then this is apparently an RE. It must be the time of the Grimlock because this is apparently an RED Grimlock that we're getting from the Red series. But it seems a little bit stylized. It's not totally G1 looking at the photos that we've got here. And that one from Weibo or wherever it was. There you go. And also leaked was what supposedly is going to be a legacy minor Megatron. So from the IDW comics when he was a minor. So it looks like it's based on the Siege mold, which is really obvious when you see it from behind. But there you go. Anybody calling out for that? A minor of Megatron?
I will just say one thing
No.
that they've dropped this about a week or two after MMC have re-released their version, their Megatron, with the optional alternate body. So when MMC Megatron, Jamie knows, I think he has a figure that you can swap out the top half of the body, like the chest, the shoulders, the head, the gun. The main component.
Although Hasbro haven't dropped it, have they? Somebody's leaked that. That's an unfinished version, which, if you didn't notice, is lacking the heads again.
I would argue the important case, Hasbro actually own the IP. So
it's theirs. You can't accuse them of nicking something that belongs to them.
Yeah.
How dare you steal our ideas, said third-party company.
But
Anyway,
Andy,
right.
do you see a lot of people in the north of England running to get this Megatron?
Yeah, particularly around the Barnsley area and towards the northeast as well. I think it'll be very popular there.
Sorry,
Not so much
Andy,
the Margaret Thatcher version of Megatron, which
You should come with a Canary. That'd be kind of cool.
And this is the
Andy,
RED Prime Starscream. So we
Buzzsaw.
have
You
Andy,
come with Buzzsaw.
Are you accusing people in
genius.
Barnsley, Andy, of running?
what? I'm accusing them of running. Are you saying that people of Barnsley would be offended?
Running
by the
to
idea
or
that-
from. Running to
Jesus
or from.
Christ.
It's
Can I just
running in
check how many
general.
pints deep you are, Alexis? 'Cause I'm
But
Full
I
magnitude.
honestly think Hasbro should release Megatron Minor with Buzzsaw, the Canary for the mines. I think that would be a wonderful package, and literally everyone would buy it for Buzzsaw
yeah,
because he's
that's
not
probably
being
true.
released.
No, why have we not had a Buzzsaw? Seems strange. Anyway, this is a Legacy Evolution Voyager Junkion. Apparently this is our first look at it. But once again, must be from the same source as the other ones because he ain't got no head. But there you go. It looks like a test shot again.
It looks
And
like someone
just
really likes the
illustrate.
Alicon colours, doesn't it? And they
I thought
just
it was
don't-
like an Alicon design, but you see the part on the back, it looks like it turns into some kind of truck.
Why do you need another
you go.
Junkion?
You love them. You absolutely love them. You know you
I
do.
just don't understand.
And finally, the YOLO Park. I think it's Rise of the Beast model kits. So you've got a Bumblebee. You've got a rather fierce-looking Optimus Primal. I mean, kind of looks more badass than he seems to in the film. And then you've got an Optimus Prime as well. And thank God, sweet Jesus, that's the end of the mainline news. So now what everybody's been looking forward to. I could see the excitement already on people's faces. It's third-party news. Have we got an intro this time?
Believe it or not, this is the fun part.
Maybe.
MB21. So this is the MB21 update. So this is, of course, Broadside. I mean, Tidal Wave. So this is Tidal Wave and the next part of the Dark Fleet that they've revealed. So you can see those two parts together.
It's the same bot, right? He just flips.
Yes,
into
these are two parts of the same bot. Yeah.
Yeah, he triple changes, doesn't he? So
that's basically the upper part of his torso. And on the original toy, these bits can become like his shoulders. This bit split to become his arms, and it looks potentially like they're just doing the same thing, but obviously third party.
Is it a Duocon or a triple changer?
3 parts. It's 3 parts. It's like a Duocon, but with 3 of them. So it's a triple con, trio con.
Triocon.
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 Yeah,
That's interesting.
Trio.
Sorry, just
I
to
want a
touch
trio. I know one.
As a character,
anyway, sorry. Got
as a character, that's quite unique because there's no other Triocons, are there?
I mean, off the top of my head, no. But Tidal Wave, the original Tidal Wave toy, is a very good toy from that line. If you haven't experienced it, it's worth having a mess around with. I've got the Energon version. It's not up there because it's not in this room at the moment. I don't know why I pointed up there, but it would normally be up there. So just imagine it floating over there.
Do you have a point and then go, it's not there. Where the fuck is it?
You know, once or twice I've done that when we've done the show. Oh, yeah, I've got that. Where the freaking hell is it?
Fucking time.
Oh, dear. Anyway, it looks good. And fans hobby have been knocking it out of the park. And I'm hearing an echo from someone. Alexis, you'd better have those headphones on.
Shit. Sorry, I haven't got one. Give me a minute.
Anyway, yeah. So that's that. It looks really good. Would Pete, would you be after something like this?
With sailors.
I mean, it does form a big boat.
Only if the expansion pack contains every every sailor needed to command a boat of that size. I think it's quite cool. I don't think it's for me, but I think it's very cool.
And then we've got this, which is
touchy subject.
Touchy subject. This is Doctor Wu. Sorry, Doctor Wu. I was trying to think who it was. Doctor Wu. And this is their Weibo from their Weibo account, and this is their prototype of DW E22 Space Disc.
Cosmos does look cool, doesn't he? He's just got that style, isn't it? Apart from the anal Tobin, but he's awesome.
I think he looks like a Dustin. I've never been that impressed with him.
There's nothing wrong with Alien Pro if you ask Pete on his birthday. Now, doesn't Cosmos always look cool? Whatever he's in, right? So you got Cosmos, Cosmos in this form, right? Cosmos in New Age is really cool. Cosmos in MP School. Cosmos is really cool in Choke Scale. Is Cosmos cool in the cartoon? We'll forget that.
See him
but every toy mode I see him in, he's really well designed. Everyone, he looks super cool, super screen accurate. Is it a simple design, a simple bot, or just an anal prober? Jury's out.
Didn't they try to explain away why he has the spaceship mode in one of the IDW comics? And in that one, he arrived on Earth and he saw a model of a spaceship, a UFO, on a film set. And he mistakenly thought it was just a vehicle, so he scanned it, and that's the explanation as to why he looks the way he does.
He's a thick bastard.
Oops. Quite possible.
On that point, what does that say about Rock Lords?
Well, they didn't scan fuck all. They were just stuck as rocks.
They didn't come down and go, that's a nice boulder. Anyway.
Literally,
so there you go. We've also had this one, which I've forgotten what this is. What is this again, Alexis?
Sandstorm from Mechanic Studios.
Mech Fans Toys. Yeah, it's their Sandstorm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I found it. I think Paul shared this with us, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight.
Prototypes. RJ is really good.
He's not dead. Just to be clear. He's not bad.
He's We've been down the non-fun tunnel.
Sorry, for those who don't know, Paul has been invited to Coronation tomorrow. So if you tune in tomorrow at 10:20 on the possession, Paul is going to be in he'll be up in Buckingham Palace basically with the Queen and King in the future. He's there. I don't know how he does it, but Paul has been invited to the coronation tomorrow. So if you look on TV tomorrow,
do you know what would be cool in the coronation if the Queen Mother, the Queen comes back, she, just comes back.
Well, she comes back at the coronation,
like Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end of Return of the Jedi.
shaking their heads at the size and
no. The return of Optimus Queen.
Yes, I don't know. A bazooka just blows them up.
I prefer your version of the coronation. Anyway, here's MSB 21 Bumblebee repaint coming soon. Full painted version with metallic face sculpt.
Does that mean the Pyre version wasn't fully painted?
Oh my god! What's going on there? I know it's not the best, like
the face
resolution on the photo. Jesus wept.
He looked like he just came from the grave.
He does. Force ghosting it. Anyway, right. So have we got more? Oh, we've got more.
If they get this right, I will buy this. Right, the New Age B is good, but it's got proper kibble issues. This B's got a pretty good stance. So, and the Swindle is on point. Unless anyone disagrees, Swindle is on point.
Did you just say Swindle is on point unless anyone disagrees? Stand by your point, Alexis. Be strong. Magic Square Swindle looking pretty swish.
I am fair. I am always fair.
Not a massive fan of the knee.
You're getting pissed at your wee skull, aren't you?
A Magnum
so much well better when a Scottish person says it.
A Magnum Prosecco I'm going through right now. I'm enjoying it. So
we know. Anyway, good head sculpt. It looks pretty good. I'm not a massive fan of that cartoon look of Swindle anyway. I prefer more of the toy look, but anyway.
It's always been quite hard to pull off though, hasn't it? Because the toy was so different. And I think everyone's craved the toon look.
Usually in the main line just gets a repainted hound, but that's Hasbro.
They're doing a great job with all of them though, aren't they?
They're all still my favourite so far.
Zeta, who were the first third party to do the Combaticons, which their Bruce Curse is still legendary today, because of the parts forming. They went for the toy look, but it did have the flip around part for his chest and his crotch when he went into toy mode. But it still was, and you could have both modes. Same with the Onslaught with the chest, but it was still very toy-esque. So no one MNC was the closest so far to nail it, and now Magic Square.
And here's Raymond Toys with a version of their mask vehicle, what's the hell is this one called again? Thunderhawk, thank you. God, Bennett, I had a proper brain freeze.
With Matt Tracker. And this is,
Matt Tracker,
and you can. I don't know if you can buy it today.
That would totally fly.
It's still on pre-order.
Still on pre-order. 129.99 from Kapow Toys. I bought mine from. I haven't seen it available anywhere else in the UK. So now it's 130 quid, right? But if you go to Ramen Toys in the US, it's $200, which I think if you translate that back into pounds is worse. So whatever Kapow have done to get this toy in the UK, it's pretty good, and they have at the other Ramen Toys as well. So they've got, and it's got the bombs that drop at the bottom. It's got fire missiles. It's got proper seatbelts, cockpits. There's still the 2.5-inch size scale that you want, which is the perfect size for Transformers.
Do you have to add the stickers to it yourself?
No.
I don't know. I don't.
No,
again,
they've gone through.
They're stickers, aren't they? They're not actual.
Yeah,
decals.
They've gone through on their Twitter a really kind of an in-depth look at the process, and I've never seen anyone else do it, but they're literally going, right, this is what it's looking like pre-painted, this is now what it's looking painted, and they're going through even the details on the chairs. It looks amazing. I think it's.
I would buy this, but I was just put off because I thought it was stickers I would have to put on.
Yeah, I'm like 100% sure I read that they were going to be applied.
Cool. Hopefully they'll do a better job than Hasbro in Power of the Primes mode. Anyway,
so just add to that. Sorry, these are the guys that do the Centurions as well, who Ramen are releasing the new Centurions. They're doing Brave Star as well, so they're doing a lot of 80s.
Bionic 6, you cowards! Do it, Bionic 6.
I think
you say Bionic 6 or Bionic Sex?
Bionic 6. Why
Oh,
you
thank
always
God for
bringing
that.
sex into this, yeah?
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. All right, Jamie, isn't it?
Got to control it. Calm down.
Obsessive.
But these kind of, and I'm going to try and pick my words carefully.
Totally
These
misheard
kind
you
of
then.
lower level licenses just appear to be up for grabs, and I wonder if it won't be long till we see a couple of third party, you know, chances at it, like the Mask and the Centurions and, you know, Brave Star, until someone picks it up.
Yeah.
They must see how it sells. They must see how it sells. and then-
Visionaries, magical powers.
Yeah, get the
But
visionaries.
why
on
haven't
board.
they done Visionaries? You know what I mean? There's
Hasbro
Anyway.
don't have the bravery to do it properly. They just dipped their toe in a couple of times in recent years, giving us Leoric. Didn't even have a proper hologram. Give us a hologram, you freaking cowards. Anyway, right. Sorry, we'll crash on. So that was the news. What do we do next normally? Foreplay? Oh no, pickups. Who can forget pickups?
Do you want pickups? Do you want pickups?
Yeah, do pickups.
We now return to the Transformers.
Cheers, Jay.
Should we finish with Pete's pickups because it's the show off his birthday, birthday gob. Start maybe Jamie because he might have something special for us if he's got.
Can I go first? I'm going first.
All right, Alexis, you go first.
All right. I got a wonderful bill from the vet for my cat. Move on.
Cool.
Okay. I thought that was going to be a
I hope your
sad
cat's
story.
all
I
right,
was
mate.
about to cry.
No. I just got a bill.
You don't have to get the cat. You do not have to get the cat. So you're looking around. Comparison.
I've got the Thunder divorce on the. I've got the Thunder divorce on the table. The Thunder divorce is there.
I know some boxes on your floor as well.
so
And
I meant to pick up on this.
MP10. So MP10 compared to a Thunder divorce. I call it the Thunder divorce because I might get one. So that's
I
it.
meant
Not
to
my
pick
choice.
up on it earlier, Alexis, when you mentioned it. You said you didn't have anywhere to display it. You can display it here if you want.
Oh, that's kind of you, Pete. Isn't that kind of Pete,
yeah.
Alexis, to
Yeah.
offer?
That's
Just
what I'll
drop
do
it
for
round
you.
his.
And I'll only charge you a £10 a week storage.
Oh,
Do you know what the Uber is cancelled? Unfortunately, I ordered it. It's just cancelled on me. I'm gonna write him a little review, and maybe next time I might get a decent Uber. So next week, Pete. That's
Fingers
me.
crossed.
I got that. I got that.
Are you ready, Jamie, or do you want to?
I'm ready.
We don't really need. I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say I got some hand cream. There.
I'm going to meet myself against more prosecco. Pete,
That's what I picked up at the shops. Jesus. What has this become?
Yeah, so as I was just going to say, because Alexis brought up his cat in the vet bill, it's been like a week and a year since I lost my cat Gemma, so I've not ever used the cat scale with my new cat, the Pipster, who I called the Chubster, because she would probably eat my Transformers. She's like a wrecking ball just now, has me absolutely terrified. But what I've got here, and if I can remember his name properly, is Burning Plasma Blaster, which the code name I use, TFFD, has no recollection to that name, which is quite annoying. So it's Burning Plasma Blaster, and he's based on, I think the Fire Drive mold is a clear plastic version, which came from Japan. So it was exclusive out in Japan. I managed to grab him. So I'm quite pleased to get that and not obviously pay the extortionate prices which are out there. I know eBay started to go up from 30 to 40 to 50 now. And I know Big Bad Toy Store was selling them at something like 60 quid or $60 and that
Really?
doesn't include postage, yeah. So a lot of people have been able to sort of pick this up generally for about, your £30 mark so far, but I think the prices are going up. Yes, so there he is in his wonderful glory, and it's just cool to have. I think it's just a bit annoying that we were missing out, and I wish in exclusives like that, it kind of makes you want it more. But yes, I do love the sort of Battle Masters, and I think it's just awesome, and I just wish they would do more Battle Masters really, and I wish. With some of the toys which we've been getting out, we could go picked up the Battle Master versions for them, like Spinster, etc. There he is with Cosmos. Cosmos is showing him off there. And yeah, it works quite well. It's a good color. You know, if you like red, you're going to love this toy, Pete. You know, if
I
you
just
don't
can't get
like,
over the price. Why is it so expensive?
well, it's coming
It's
over
a bit
from
exclusive.
Japan. You know, and don't you think the Japanese deserve this?
Who am I? Who am I to stop the Japanese people excelling?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
why? I don't know.
I mean, I did complain to Japan and said, look, can't you just make your toys and just send them to the UK free of charge, so we don't need to pay all this VT and import, and you guys take the loss. You take it all on, Japan, so I can get my cheap toys. But they've ignored me so far. And there's a little package, and he comes in there from Takada.
You didn't even get it in a box.
Well, do you know, I was a bit disappointed with Takada because the instructions on how to transform it were all in Japanese, or kanjo, whatever they call it. And I was like,
It's almost like you're not allowed it.
Oh, Takada.
Yeah.
What are you like?
Yeah. I
with
was
the
getting
times.
blocked off. I would say I could read between the lines, but I couldn't because it was all in Japanese. So, but yeah, luckily enough, I was able to hard pan for this bad boy and transformed him into a gun. Like
Can I just? Sorry, I had to run out the room for a minute there just to help Claire with something. But can I just ask, because I didn't get a chance before, is this the same mold we've had before? Obviously, just different color, different materials.
Yeah,
right.
It's just basically Fire Drive. Basically, you know, the original little Battle Master.
Yeah, I thought
just
it was,
repainted, translucent plastic, etc. But yes, it's quite cool, and I'm quite pleased to have it. And I think there'll be other people sort of after this. Another thing which I got, which is thanks to RJ, is Great Shot.
Yay!
The Takada version of Great Shot. I've got the Mastermind Creation version, but thanks to RJ, I managed to pick this up for a very fair price. And
Is that
I'm
the six
really
shot
grateful.
Yeah.
Yes. He is six shot. He is.
Okay.
This is six shot who doesn't skip you in the queue. This is a six shot who might buy you a birthday present, Pete. You know, this is a six shot who does get to say happy birthday to you on your birthday on a Thursday and not a day
I said
later.
you could have a beer, right? Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you again, RJ, and I really do appreciate that. So that's
notice, Pete, I just basked in the glory of knowing it. Jamie needs to make sure everybody's aware.
Now, I did have some other, you know, I had little Cosmos. I got another Cosmos. The idea is to have him in the shipboard because I was thinking to myself, I don't want to damage this character because I really love Cosmos. It's like one of the first toys I got as a kid. And I honestly thought there's going to be lots of Cosmos out there and I'll be able to pick them up cheap. I was fucking wrong. Totally wrong. I'm not being able to pick them up cheap.
You know,
but thanks to Chris Mead out there, people might know from Transformers Unlimited, he gave me it from basically, you know, value, which you would have got from Smith's Toys. And the first one I got, I kind of broke. We decided it wasn't my fault to make me feel better. And he managed to help me. And he gave me an instruction video on how to transform it just to make sure I wouldn't make any similar sort of mistakes. But we did decide there was a defect. But yes, he did save me and give me a good working Cosmos, which works beautifully. You know, the head can flip, so that's great. And I got a Dirge, and I loved it, and it's quite good. You know, basically it's the same as everything's the same apart from the wings, like people said. It's you know, the wings are basically in the plastic color, where the wings of the original Dirge were painted. But when I tried to transform it, I couldn't clip the feet into the back. I mean, well, the legs into the back, you know, to complete the plane.
Yeah.
And as hard as I could, I just couldn't do it. And I was starting to have almost breakdown because obviously I'd messed up with Cosmos and destroyed that, you know, which was a defect, not my fault. I'm a good transformer. And then Dirge was happening to me as well. And then you got like the muscles guy, Russell with muscles. He said he just used some force, you know, which obviously made me feel even better. So I took off my top and, you know, used some force, right, the power of Grey Skull, and I still couldn't get it in. And then I rubbed some oil on myself, did the same thing.
Sorry, what the fuck have I walked into?
No change. And it's just like, you know, it was just annoying. You know, it just nothing. I was shiny and I did think I looked like Sam Smith on stage.
Like a Chippendale, Jamie.
Yeah, that was my second part. A chippy deal if you're very drunk
Magic,
like Alexis.
Magic Jamie.
maybe a few more
We're
bottles
mocking
of
your
wine.
PTSD, mate. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. We shouldn't.
And yes, so but I got a new Dodge just today. First thing I did was rip open the box. I was really excited. Normally I'm really careful with the box, but I ripped it open and just started transforming it. Transformed like a dream. My God, everything in this new one was so much better. The way the head could move up and down, the fact that the legs were. Do you know how sometimes you buy a Transformer and it's just slightly misaligned, and the legs were perfectly aligned. It was almost like this version had came from Mount Olympus itself, and the other version I got came from, I don't know, Great Britain. It just
Sounds about
there
right.
was just night and day between the two different versions. So, and it was just weird because I'm not really experienced that. I've experienced all the crap quality control with chips and scratches and things not painted right, but never that real defect in an actual transforming. But yes, that was basically everything for me, Andy.
Right,
And thanks
cool,
again to
cool.
RJ.
Yeah, good job, RJ. Good job, Chris Mead, as well. Top man. I'll go quickly so that we can get to Pete's birthday stuff. I also got a dirge. The only issue I had with my dirge was this chest part. Didn't seem to clip in properly. And it took a few goes of transforming it and a bit of kind of jimming it and a little bit of force. I didn't oil myself up for it, but a little bit of force. And it does now clip in properly.
I was able to transform him fully clothed.
If you don't oil
I'll be
yourself
saving the
up,
oiling
are
up
you
for
really
next
trying?
week at
Are you
TFUK.
really trying? That's what I say.
I'll tell you what I'll do. And it's not oil up, just before anybody gets too excited. As a quick side-by-side comparison, G1 Dirgy, and I do like. I like Dirge. I've always like. So I'm really happy. I'd probably be happy to just have. No, I want the rest. Give me the rest of the Seekers, you the Coneheads, you swines. So that was it. That's. Tell a lie. My TFUK Con T-shirt arrived, featuring Chuck Norris.
Oh, wow.
Which is lovely. Didn't know he was even appearing at the con. That's fantastic.
Stand up.
Oh, well,
Come on.
No, I'm joking. There you go. And
Who's at the bottom? Who's that?
The show. That's kind of us. That's what we. Yeah. But anyway, we are
Very
there.
cool.
So TFUK Con. Hopefully you're all coming along. Is it only a week away now? Oh, it's 2 weeks. Sorry. No, it's a week. What the hell is the date? Yeah. So
No, but there's an echo.
Yes, I can hear an echo again.
Sorry,
Alexis.
Hopefully
Anyway, so yeah, that was it. Those are my pickups. Nice and quick and easy, just like me. Right, Pete.
You never easy, not unless we use load. Oh God,
It's no fun. I can't believe you said that. The two members of the
Look,
teaching
I'm gonna have to
community.
cut that out.
Oh, Maylin, Claire, we're so sorry.
No, it's my fault.
I was going to say sorry, but
He's
not.
right. It was his fault. Anyway, Pete, what have you got?
Well-
for your B-day, my friend.
I've got so let's go pre-orders first.
Yeah,
I got Dirge, like everybody else. So
Join
there's
the
nothing
club.
else to add. I just haven't had a chance to open him yet.
Fuck.
I also got Marvel Legends animated. What? I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round. I literally just leave it.
That's me. I'm fucking it up. Yeah.
Round and
Literally.
round and round.
let's go.
Well,
Don't
my
you just have more
goodness, what are
sympathy
you
for Paul
doing?
now?
I don't know. I don't know what's changed. SteamYard, God. SteamYard's changed.
Stop.
Hey,
that's good.
Success. There we go.
Stop.
We're
I'll
there,
do
we're
it.
there.
All right. Sorry, I couldn't
It's
get my
done.
headphones
No, it's
working.
done.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just leave it.
Yes, because I fucking sorted it. All right, just stop touching. I couldn't get my headphones working.
I got the Marvel Legends animated
Go on, Pete.
Spider-Man box set. Doc Ock and Aunt May. I'm not going down the Marvel Legends route, but for me,
Why is
Marvel
that?
was
Why is that?
because it's just another rabbit hole, and I don't have the space. For me, Marvel was like the animated series is back in the 90s. Spider-Man and
Amazing
X-Men.
presents.
Yeah. And everyone's favourite Gilf, Aunt May. Haven't had a chance to open it up yet, but we'll do.
Could you explain what Gilf is to your younger viewers, please?
Could you please not? Alexis, that echoes back. Sorted out. Anyway, what else you got?
Birthday pickups. So because I'm now on the train, I got some. I got some Marvel Legends.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
But only
Just a
Spider-Man.
small
Only
town boy.
No, literally only Spider-Man. Only
Just
Spider-Man.
dipping the tip in. That's fine.
Yeah. Not going full Alexis. Triclops
Some men
from
with
Nice.
muscles. That's what you want.
Masterverse. Yeah. There's a common theme with all the He-Man. They've all
I was going to say, not many that don't.
literally, even the weedy ones have got muscles. So they were birthday pickups. My daughter, for what one reason I can only assume is she thinks I'm a superhero, bought me a Batman detective kit. We have been discussing if the cowl will actually fit me. I don't think it will, because
Amazing.
Willis's by nature have massive heads. And I think this is designed for a child rather than a grown man.
To be fair, you
However-
are 6'4".
Pete,
I feel like
Pete,
you wearing it though.
Peter, are you going to be Bat
Yes,
Dick?
mate.
Are you going to be Bat Dick?
I don't want to ask what you mean, but I feel like I should.
Bat Detective. Bat Detective.
Oh,
Okay. Bat Dick.
Bat Dick.
That's not what he meant though.
Yeah, no,
Do you
probably
think it'll
not.
fit in your dick then? Is that what you said?
Willis's have wide dicks.
I don't think
Mandy,
she
if you
meant
are
it for
watching
that.
this, thank you.
Oh my god!
And then I've got
We should really
a
stop.
pick
that.
up from today,
Ooh.
but I feel like it might sit better in the discussion.
Ooh. You want to save it?
Can you give us-
Yeah, I
give us
do.
a-
I want to save it. That was it. I was spoiled on my birthday.
Lovely.
Oh, I got a Thundercat t-shirt as well. I got a Thundercat t-shirt
Nice.
and a new packet of pants.
It's such a fun
Yay!
to get home.
Proper
Such a
presents.
fun to get home.
Yeah,
Sweet. So that's that. So that's it then. Pickups all
That's it.
done.
and it's like.
Shall we?
Sorry, wrong one.
Shall we bring in the
Full
gift
function
of
with that.
the Rohan? Is that ready to go? Who was downloading it?
Oh, yeah, I've got that right. Yeah. So, do we want to call the Rohan?
We always call the Rohan, for it is the way. All together now. Have you got your bottle ready?
No, because I'm drinking there.
Like I said to the nun.
I've got a few more glasses.
got
to go
what?
through, so-
Yeah, I've got my champagne glasses. All right, then let's do
Yeah,
that.
I'm so Berkshire.
Rohan.
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 Nice.
Jamie?
Dramatic pause doesn't work.
Who is
It doesn't work in
this
this
YouTuber? Is it Paul, the Joy Toy Collector?
Okay, wait a second. How does he do this? How does oh shit? How does
We
Paul
did
do
not
this?
call down the Andy, and we certainly didn't call down the Jamie. We
Right,
called down
okay,
the
who's
Rohan.
doing
The
it?
United
So,
Fan,
there you go.
Jamie, the GoBot hater, Alexis, the salesman, Rohan, the man with the plan and the wall of fame, might just
Rohan. Oh, sorry.
Rohan's Corner, Super Transformers guy. Rohan's Corner.
None of the
Everyone
videos
touch
have
on
a
that.
front drive.
Oh, he's so fly, a
Okay.
groovy guy with a beard that just won't stop. When the bots get rough, he's super tough as third party cleans up. Rohan's Corner, Super Transformers guy. Rohan's Corner, poking Hasbro in the eye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Magic Corner. Rohan Square. Do either of those work? Hello and welcome back to Rohan's Corner. Thank you to my friends on the show. And continuing the tanktastic theme we had last week with Star Toys Blitzwing, this week we have another tank baddie for you, the one and only Magic Square Brawl. So let's get straight into him, shall we? Okay, so starting off here with the box, as always, we have the lovely Magic Square G1 inspired design with the artwork here for Heavy Gunner Brawl and the warning, of course, on the front, Magic Square and ages 16 plus. On the side, we have more of the same. On the back, we have an alt mode alt mode picture in the desert. It's not particularly amazing. Looks like there's a space bridge there, but it's the wrong color. Tech specs at the bottom, which is nice. Magic Square logo. On this side, we get made in China and some warnings. On the bottom, more warnings, and on the top, just Magic Square. So let's open them up. And so inside the box, you get the instruction manual with his weapons, gun, and missiles, and missile launcher, carrier, and there's some small, tiny little green piece here. I don't know what that's for. Two of them, actually. Oh, they might be the lamps on the front of his tank. We shall find out. Or possibly even those bits that stick on the side of him. No, they're there. And of course, you get the figure itself and the foot. So G1 inspired, not the IDW one. You get a nice green foot here. It's pretty much just one solid piece. There is some assembly on the bottom there, but other than that, you can't really see much going on. There's no articulation. And Brawl himself. So he looks and feels pretty good. Very Magic Square style of plastic. We've got some lovely detailing here on his leg, which obviously is more for the alt mode, but it does work well here in robot mode. Clean lines as you'd expect with Magic Square. No kibble, no sort of screw holes, not too many panel lines. Some nice detailing here around the chest, and the little weapons, the little firing missiles or whatever they are on the sides of his torso here. The tank treads. Nice head sculpt there. Looks G1-esque with the red popping through and the yellow. And of course his patented tank turret behind him. Side profile. Got a few bits of gap here, which is not really like Magic Square. A few bits of squashed areas here and tabs here. I guess this is what happens when you get a combiner. And the tank tread protrudes a little bit, but not much. You can see some nice sculpted weaponry here on the back. Switch round to the back. And again, nice detail on the tank turret. It's not the cleanest looking Magic Square figure, but it's not bad. You can see the shoulders and the arms aren't bad at all. The legs a little bit more stuff on display, including this misaligned element here. These two little lamps here I briefly mentioned, they go on top of his tank in tank mode. He of course also comes with his Magic Square card, heavy gunner, and the tech specs on the back there. Exactly the same as in the box. Articulation is good, but I have to admit it's slightly more limited than we're used to with Magic Square. Obviously, you've got the ability to have a wrist swivel and a forearm swivel, but the shoulders are restricted because of the joints they've used, and the knees can bend quite far back, but can't go obviously any further forward. In terms of the legs and the thighs, they can move forwards but can't go back, can't go to the side, and there's a waist swivel and a waist elongation because of the transformation. In terms of feet, not really. His ankle rocker because of the transformation, but yeah, that's about it. So as you well know, normally I would like to do a comparison against all the other brawls in my collection. However, I just have Generation 1 Brawl because I sold my RID Ruination, and I also didn't bother. Well, I sold my Energon Brawl and Bruticus set, and I didn't get the Combiner War set because I didn't like it, and we're still waiting for an updated version of War for Cybertron / Legacy type Brawl, and also Bruticus and the Combaticons. So this is the only comparison I can show you, but he does stack up quite nicely against the standard kind of Legends Plus figures. He's quite tall, actually. He stacks up quite nicely next to New Age Galvatron there, who's one of the taller Legends figures in my collection. Alright, transformation complete, and there we have Brawl in traditional Magic Square style. The transformation is complex and does require a lot of steps. Not only that, but I have heard complaints in the past about Magic Square's Stunticons being too simple. Well, this is definitely not too simple. The number of panels you have to flip out and the tabs you have to tab in, it reminds you of Gears and Hound and some of the other previously built Magic Square figures, but the result you cannot ever argue with. Now, in terms of a tank, obviously he has several accessories He's got the tank turret itself, which does extend. When I extended mine, it pulled straight out. There is a little lip on it, so you can push it straight back in, and you can reattach it and then twist it so it won't come out again. His gun sits on top and can be moved left and right. Those two little lamps, you don't have to put them both in. I have, but yeah, it's up to you. And then obviously you have the large laser turrets that he uses in like one episode. I think it's The Revenge of Bruticus, when they're fighting those gargoyles. And possibly also Starscream's Brigade when they capture Jazz and Cliff Jump, as he was known in that episode. But ultimately, let's take a look at him. He's got some nice molded treads on him. The finish is very clean, as always expected from Magic Square. They fold up everything and hide it out of the way so you don't see it. There is this one joint here, which you can see in a couple of very small tab openings for transformation. The molding of the weapons and all the other detailing is very nice. This piece here is solid and you can hold it from him. The back end isn't quite as neatly put together as you would expect with some Magic Square figures, but it is kind of hidden as well, and of course it will become the foot. So yeah, ultimately it's a very nice looking tank. You can of course move the turret around, you can swivel it up and down. It doesn't have any motion on itself. It's quite a tightly fitted figure, and doing the shoulders in transformation the first time did take me a little while, so you do need some patience. So vehicle mode comparison time, we do have him here with a host of other tankies, because why not? We have Generation 1 Blitzwing, we have MechFans Toys Blitzwing, we have thank you, Warpath, of course, for the Kingdom version. I didn't bother bringing down G1. He's quite small and diddy and whatever. We've got G1 Brawl, and we have to make a comparison here and say the G1 Brawl has a slightly darker green on him. The washed out kind of green color is more camo appeal, I suppose, from Magic Square's Brawl, but ultimately I prefer the darker green, but it does the job. And then, of course, Star Toys Blitzwing, just because I've just done the review for him as well. And so, alt mode comparison with some other scales here for you. We've got the Masterpiece scale, KO, Fans Toys, Astra Train, who is massive, and Brawl still probably wouldn't be able to fit in the back of him. Masterpiece scale, Toy World B, who is much, much bigger and doesn't really scale up well. Brawl next to Magic Square's Hound is an interesting combo, because I feel like Brawl is taller and wider in both robot mode and also vehicle mode than Hound, which is kind of something I wouldn't have expected. I would have expected the combiner limbs to be slightly smaller, maybe, than the original cars, but then at the same time he is a tank. So New Age Outback here, that kind of scales quite nicely, I think, as a mini bot. I've got a Siege or Earthrise Micromaster here that kind of works, and then Velocitron Hauler, who is obviously much bigger. Right then, final thoughts on Magic Square Brawl. He is a cheeky little chappy. I would suggest that the robot mode is fantastic. I really like the detailing. It's got everything you need. It's got enough articulation, and it's a very good homage to a G1 Brawl, the best one we've had, in my opinion. The alt mode is decent. It's not quite there. I would have liked the paintwork to be slightly darker green, but it's pretty in keeping with the camo tank. The price point is quite significant. $42 is almost a 20 or 30% increase on the price that we were paying for the Constructicons, who were packed 2 per box, about $33, $32, and the Stunticons, who were obviously a little bit more simple than the combiners that we're getting these days from Magic Square. So, you know, you make up your mind. If we consider that the majority of Magic Square figures are now hitting the deluxe type figures, are now hitting the $40, $45 bracket, is it still a cheap game anymore? I mean, even MechFans Toys will probably be bumping their prices up to $30, $35 soon, I guess. So I guess in that respect, it's still cheaper than New Age, and it's still a fabulous product. Yes, it has its inherent tabbing and folding issues that come with Magic Square, but if you've got the patience and you follow the instructions well, you'll get there. And there's some ingenuity in this figure too. So I give him a 7.5 out of 10. He's a great hit for me, but obviously I'm looking forward to seeing the combined Bruticus mode most of all. Right, and before I sign off and say goodbye, it is of course time for the next installment of Dinobot War. When we left you, we had made the decision to try and creep down to the saucer, turning to page 67. That was courtesy of most of you. You clamber over the edge of the rock shelf and quietly make your way down to the floor of the cavern. Moving on tiptoes, you approach the open door of the saucer. The two aliens are hard at work taking their readings from their instruments and do not see you. You glance up at the shadows. Even though you know where Ravage is hiding, it is very difficult to see him in the dim light. You reach the saucer and dart inside. Still unnoticed, it does not take you long to find the metal sphere that brought you back in time. You only have to turn the dial on the side and you will be returned to your own time. You're about to do it, but then a thought crosses your mind. If you leave Ravage and Laserbeak here, they may outwit the Dinobots and succeed in reaching the Ark. You cannot allow that. Running to the door, you start yelling, "Come on, Decepticons, come and get me!" The two little aliens look up in surprise and begin to jabber at you. Then they see Ravage and Laserbeak rushing furiously towards you and pass out in a dead faint. "Prepare to die, humans," snarls Ravage as he reaches you. "Not just yet," you reply, twisting the dial on the time sphere. Turn to page 69. You are ready for the time travel on this occasion. Although it makes you giddy, you do not pass out. You see Laserbeak and Ravage moving through a swirl of colour all around you. It is as though the three of you are being swept along the rainbow-coloured whirlwind. At last, the lights fade and you rematerialise in the Wizard's Cave in Disneyland. There is no sign of the two Decepticons now. Either they slipped away very quickly, or else they have gotten lost forever in the space-time continuum, if only. A scientist steps forward and takes the time sphere out of your hand. "You shouldn't play with that, kid," he snaps. "Who knows what it might do?" You smile at him sheepishly. He may not know, but you do. Turn to page 71. You have managed to return to the present day, but you have a lot of explaining to do. Will anyone believe your story? Do you believe it yourself? The end. Well, I hope you've enjoyed Dinobot War over those many weeks, and I hope you've enjoyed this through the generations review of Magic Square's Brawl. Anywho, I will see you all probably not next week, because that will be Transformers the Show coming live from TFUK Con. Hopefully the week after that. Anywho, back to the studio. Transformers, Rohans in disguise.
Backbeat here. Time for foreplay.
He said, "Time
Works
for
with the
foreplay,"
head.
and You cut the knee. Anyway,
Let's try the other appendage now. Come on.
Oh, we got to check.
Oh,
No,
foreplay.
God,
Oh, shit.
no.
Oh yeah, hang on, that's me. Hang on, time for foreplay. Oh yeah, I should have done the yeah. Let me do the
So anyway, chat, it fits.
Anyway,
These are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is DEFCON 1. Look. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
yeah,
Which we
should press
all
that
do.
first and then
Yeah,
put everyone
that's
in.
fair.
Right.
Just so the chat know, I
I'm
received
not Paul,
several
okay?
stage
Fine.
instructions.
I'm not
From
full.
who?
I'm not
From
fucking
who,
full,
Pete?
right? So just ease off. I've had no cheese, and Prosecco's not really wine.
Anyway, so welcome to Foreplay. So this week for Foreplay, to tie into our discussion that's coming up, that was well discussed in our chat in advance of this episode, we're talking about which vintage toys we have picked up. So it might be a Transformer, it might be something else, who knows? But which vintage
It
toys
might
we
even
have
be a
picked up.
person, an old person.
Could be. Might be your partner, who knows? we're crazy. So which ones you've picked up, if you can remember from where, and yeah, that's it really. So anybody want to go first?
I can go first.
On,
yeah. All right. So I'm just going to add this to the stream. So this reminds me of
zoom in.
I'm going to do that.
Right, I'm old.
Alexis, could you mute yourself, please? Just for the so I can talk.
For about
that'd
the next
be awesome.
40 minutes.
So,
joking.
I'm gonna go for my loft. Right,
this is
just let. All right, just mute yourself before you go, though.
All right. So, have you not been to the loft?
Did you not?
He's doing it. He's
trying
trying
to
know
how we discussed all this when he knew what he was going to get, and then he comes in with
probably have his foot go for the fucking ceiling. That's what we'll see next.
Next week we have our new section, which is called Alexis's top 10 excuses for why he hasn't done something he was asked to do. Tune in. Anyway, Jamie, you go. Alexis, you start your loft.
So basically,
right, I'm going to loft. I'm going to loft. Sit there. Right, I'll
what am
5
I?
minutes, right? I'll be last, all right? Just work it out.
He's going to live there. He's not coming back. I'm going to the loft. I've had enough.
I'm taking my second with me.
Right, so basically, this reminds me of why we didn't go to Leicester with Alexis. Actually, it was basically our two other halves had arranged to meet up, and and I think they did a nice thing by making sure there was a vintage toy shop in the area. So that was quite awesome. So we met last year after TFN because I didn't really have the nice time at TF Nation because basically that was the weekend my mum was dying, and I was in a sort of a weird caliper thing, which meant every time I went to the toilet and I just moved backwards ever so slightly, my caliper would start walking backwards, and I'd just be spraying the urinal. not saying that's my excuse.
I'm not funny. That's not funny. I'm not laughing.
But sometimes I'd be asking for help, and obviously guys don't want to help another guy, do they, when he's sold his knob. I don't understand why. But anyway, we're at Leicester, and it was good fun, and we went to this vintage toy store. It was brilliant, and I was all in there with my sort of like.
Can I just point out when you say we, it's me and Jamie, because not Alexis and Jamie, just to be clear.
It was me and Andy, and actually we had Claire and Mila, and they brought over.
They came with us.
Way too much, and I had my Del Boy attitude on. I was ready to haggle these people down, and I saw this sort of toy. And they sort of like, behind the till, so I couldn't actually get to see a price, which is quite annoying. And I always think that's a subtle game they like to play. But I couldn't really get to see a price. And I'd already missed out on one from eBay, which I'd bought, and it wasn't in great condition, so I had to return it. So I was desperate to get it, and I went, oh, that looks brilliant. I said, I would give you 230 quid for that. And the guy's going, you sure? And I went, yeah, I would give you 230 quid, no more, 230 quid. And he said, you sure? Because it's 195 in there here. And I went, I'll give you 215, no more. And he went, you sure? Because I've just said to you, it's 190. Oh, right. But I'll take the 215. No, I'll pay the 195. Yeah.
I've never seen somebody haggle the price up before.
You went and repeated what I'd done. Feel like the world's worst hagglers.
Absolutely.
Start up high and then pay the much lower sale price they had in mind.
I shall not give you more than £300. All right, 400.
But anyway. So I got this for the recommended sale value, which was about 190 quid. It was brilliant. I had the figure in there. I got to open it up. I got to inspect it beforehand, which I think makes all the difference with a vintage toy store. Because the trouble is when you buy online, you're seeing photographs. People can change your photographs. They can deliberately take pish photographs. They can Photoshop. You just don't get it in hand. You don't get to see the minor things which you would spot instantly when you get it in your hand. And I never like these sort of sales things you see on the internet where it says come as seen, which usually means it's fucking broke in different places.
Exactly.
But can you find it? But and with the vintage toy store, they're genuinely honest. They'll tell you where the faults are. They know if they're aware of them. And sometimes they're not even aware of them themselves. And it was just a good conversation. It was brilliant fun to talk to people who obviously love what they do. They're sort of living the dream, but I'm not. But I'm buying off of them, so I'm sharing a bit of that dream. And I
You're
got that
funding their
visionary
dream.
toy. Yeah, and I got that visionary toy. I was really happy and delighted to get home. You know, and it was just epic, and it was the whole experience of going to a vintage toy show. And it was better to go with my friend as well, Andy there, and it would be better to go back next time with Paul and Alexis. I saw about Alexis. I want to put that in inverted brackets, you know, and others like Pete and Ian and Rohan and Archie. Well,
Imagine
not
if we
Rohan
all
now,
went on
because
mass.
Rohan's on a fucking list of Photobot Deceiver, so I've got you can't come.
No.
No, fine.
Yeah.
Rohan's going to sell them for you for below cost. Yeah, sure he is. Isn't that right, Rohan? Yeah,
But
mate traits.
Archie
You're all right,
used to
Rohan.
go on
No
the
need to
list,
thank me.
but he's no longer on the list, so he can come. He's okay. he's good. But
Oh, dear.
it's this experience, and I see so many other people in the community do this. You know, they do videos about it. They go up for meets, to go to other sort of like toy stores. Other people who are a bit more hip and like the newer places go to Smith Toys. There's a little group, you know. But going to that vintage place, it just makes you, it teleports you back to 80s to the 90s. And you just seen all these toys which you just didn't have an opportunity to get when you were a kid, or even get to see, and it's just lovely. And I really enjoyed the experience, and I fully recommend it to anyone else. Get to a vintage toy store, even if you're not after something in particular. Go there, because it's like you're going into a museum, you're going back into the past, you know, and you might just leave with something which you never expected. Dreams do come true.
I have to say it was very nice of our other halves to arrange a meetup, b arrange a meetup in Leicester specifically, so me and Jamie could go and indulge our love of toys at Leicester Vintage Toy Store. And
I like Phil.
Imagine how much money we could have spent in there if you were just let loose. My God, there were it's hard to describe it without you going there. It's not a massive place. If you're going thinking it's going to be like a massive megastore type, it's not. It's a relatively small shop, but it's packed literally to the rafters with vintage toys and all eras as well, going all the way back. Just amazing stuff.
And I mean, Phil transforms into a fox, and I basically identify as that as a silver fox. So. Yeah, it was the perfect toy for me.
You should change your name from Storm to Feral.
I think my list. I think my shopping list came to about 12 grand when I was in there today. It was ridiculous. It's just every cabinet. You go, I haven't seen one of them in years. It's amazing. I was in there for about an hour, and I think.
So is this where you made your purchase?
This is. Can I go next? Does anyone mind?
Yes, yeah. Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Talk about Marks and Spencer's more, please.
So I've been talking about rabbit holes. I've been toying with the rabbit hole of Bucky O'Hare. For I don't know, 6 months maybe. Definitely before Christmas.
But you got an echo, Alexis.
Get your headphones on. Get your headphones on.
Randomly, there wasn't an echo when you were in a loft. So on the way back from the Lake District today, we stopped in at Leicester Toy Shop, and I'm not going to repeat what Jamie said, but it's just from the door to the till, it's just nostalgia, and I think they've covered every.
Damn you and your big words.
Every toy line. I saw it in the chat, to be fair. Like, yes,
no idea what it means.
One.
Damn your ability to read big words.
But from door to till, it's like they cover everything. My Little Pony, Care Bears, the A-Team toy line, Rambo toy line, Turtles, and they had a load of Bucky O'Hare. So I picked up today the two vehicles.
Oh my God!
Which just take you straight back to the 90s. It's ridiculous. This the Toads double bubble. It's got a ball bearing that runs along the bottom, and as you move it, it sounds like a toad ribbiting. It's quality. It's just like right back to the 90s. They didn't have the full toy line, but they had a couple of characters. But I was in today and I asked if they had any more.
Sorry,
steel
Pete,
pieces.
should the double ball again? People want to see the double ball. Sorry.
A double bubble.
Pete, can you do this top list,
It hasn't got any
please?
stickers. It hasn't got any. It hasn't got any stickers. So I'm going to need to try and find some
The
stickers.
blue t-shirts, the contrast is off.
Yeah, but I was going to say birthday forfeit, but yours was much more believable. Let's go with that.
And the croaker, sadly, it's lost its croak. The guy in the shop, and it wasn't Joe or Gav, but he was so apologetic, and I'm like, it's like 35 years old.
Yeah.
I can live without the croaker. They had some gear in the back that they hadn't put out. So they let me. They had some. They had some characters. They had some characters.
That's almost a show after dark.
They had some characters
off the air.
We have a question from Jazz Hardy. What is buckier hair? Pete, can you give us a quick synopsis?
Quite possibly.
Google is your friend, Jazz.
Quite possibly the coolest rabbit ever. Well, he's a hare, to be fair.
I was going to say.
Yeah, all right. I'm correcting myself.
Has he got some Irish lineage in there?
Has he got Irish lineage? Yeah,
I just wonder.
It's all in the backstory, Jamie.
People might want to know. He is green. Come on, fuck's sake.
Yeah, it was second to Transformers. It was quite possibly the coolest cartoon in the early 90s.
So long last
the Irish question.
Pete, I love his right hand man, Dead-Eyed Duck with the 6 arms.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So the guys in there, you know, Joe, Gav, and the guys that work with them are genuine collectors, and I think they enjoy. I think they enjoy, you know, the display cabinets and as much as, you know, we do going in there. And like I say, they bought some characters out from the back they hadn't had time to put out. But some of them, you know, the plastic and the paint job isn't great. So I think if they've been well played with, they look it. And the guy that you know served me and dealt with me and stuff, and he's like, look, I get it. You know, you don't want to take them, and I can see why you're not taking them. But they're collectors that work in a collector's shop. It's not just a job to them, and they love it. Gav was in there. Joe wasn't, but Gav was in there. The banter. It's just a quality place. I'm just gutted. It's like 2 hours away, because if it was like half hour away, I'd be in there every weekend.
We need to take another trip there. I think.
I think what needs to happen is I need to sell the house.
Sensible policies.
Move back home and then spend all the profit from the house in the Leicester toy shop. But no, it was such a fun kind of 2 hours. I love it. They've done a great job with it. I don't know why they haven't got a shop twice that size. You know, I think
I love Bucky hair as well. I agree with you, Pete. Bucky hair's fucking amazing, and it was written off too soon. It was really cool how the guy obviously intervenes. The guy got sucked into the universe, and then intergalactic space racer against the Toads. Who was the big bad in Bucky hair?
Alligator.
That was it.
Wasn't there somebody that controlled the what was it, a machine or something that controlled the toads and
the toad ball or something?
Yeah, because I used to have the General Toad, whatever he was called, and I used to have it was like a Terminator version of a toad, and they were even at the time when I got them, they had such poor articulation. They were like toys from the early 80s rather than the 90s. But I just loved the look of them.
Yeah, literally,
just the look of them was amazing.
There's no posability.
No, they were buggers.
It's how you can get it to stand up.
But see, the thing is with a lot of these vintage toys, is it's sometimes even it's like the old G1 Transformers, even though they've got the posability of a brick, which has got arthritis, which is dead. They're just majestic, aren't they? They're magical, and you look at these things, and they just come to alive in your imagination.
I think, you know, if you look and compare it, you know, I feel like Commander Dogstar has more personality and character than sometimes a Transformer.
I mean, as a fan of Dreadwin, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. But, if you picked another one,
you're dead.
Cosmos. Cosmos.
You had a good.
Where's
one.
Windcharger? Where's
That was a good
Windcharger?
one.
Well,
You're dead to me now.
Like all movie
You're on the
franchises, all right, you get 3. This is my 3rd time. I'm bowing out in a blaze of glory. All right, the story arc is complete.
So, Pete, would you answer Jazz Hardy's comments there? Is Bucky hair something that his girls like? They are like probably
Yes,
age
they
of
will
like
love it.
four.
They will love it. Yeah, they will love it. Absolutely.
And also like rabbit stew. But no,
Anyway,
it's like
right,
Peter Rabbit. But
So anyway, that's me. Done.
I'm going to go next, and then we'll finish.
That's where I
with
say it, right?
Alexis.
Is it Bucky hair is Peter Rabbit in space, but with things we like.
But with space
And a friend
rabbit
that's
and
got-
alien frogs.
And a friend that's a
Exactly.
duck
Come on,
that's got
come on.
4 arms.
Okay, don't
I'll
think
tell
too
you
much.
now, there are
It's very
English
much- it's very
literacy
explained.
professors sitting at home right now going, fucking hell, he's right. Anyway, so I'm going to go with this, and I can't remember the name of the shop, which is really bad, but it's not open anymore, so it doesn't really matter. So we once went on holiday with Claire's family, mum and dad, to Scarborough, and there was a little second-hand vintage toy store in like this cellar market area of this very old market place.
Again.
Yeah, there's an echo again. Anyway, long story short, I'd spotted this and I'd ummed and ahed about buying it, and Claire, the echo stopped. Claire had snuck back when I hadn't realised, and she'd gone back and bought it for me, and it's back again. It's gone again. Anyway, she got me not a replacement, because I still have my G1 Cyclonus, but this is really minty. Like, all the stickers are like they've just been put on. The joints still squeak when you move them. It's that good. And it came with its box. So she got this for, I think it was £45 from this vintage toy store. And I thought it was more expensive than that. And it comes with its instructions, which are inside. I had to go and retrieve this. I mean, don't get me wrong, the box isn't in perfect condition, as you can see, but still, I mean, so this kind of, I've got Cyclonus and his Armada on the shelf now, and have done for a few years. So this would be my choice, just because, G1 Cyclonus, for God's sake, and 45 quid. I don't think you'd get one in this condition for 45 quid off like eBay or something. No. I'm not even sure you get one for 45 quid on.
But to be fair, you did suffer going to Scarborough, so fucking hell, man.
Do you know what? I like Scarborough. As a working class man, Jamie, I don't mind that kind of holiday. I'm not one of these snobby types.
Because working class.
Yeah. I put on my miner's outfit and got down there. Anyway, Cyclonus. Nice.
It's
anyway,
quality,
the poor shop
but...
it has closed because he used to be on Facebook. The guy who ran it, it was just one bloke, and he was trying to do his own toy store and everything. And unfortunately, I mean, we haven't been in years, but unfortunately, I remember seeing the post where he said he was basically closing it down, just going to run it from home as like an eBay type thing. And then I think even that stopped. But if he's out there, if he's by some miracle watching this, thank you very much. And if you've got any more stuff, let us know. Alexis, were you successful, A, in sorting out the bloody echo, but B, in getting your vintage toy that you were getting from your loft? We can't hear you.
He's muted. I've not muted you, Alexis.
Oh,
you
no,
muted yourself.
There you go.
Surprisingly, I was on both accounts.
Yay!
So if I will make myself big, and the wife loves that. So we had we did have a casualty though. Casualty is I ripped off that from the box as I came down.
That's a hint. That's a very unsubtle hint. If anybody can make that out.
So
my screen is just frozen with your face. Oh, it's stopped now. I wish I could have screen grabbed that.
It's because it's very beautiful, Andy.
That's exactly because it was beautiful. Oh,
so I got this. So this is the original 80s Voltron, and the shop is my nan's, because every time I used to go around there back in the 80s, Nan had this, and when Nan passed away, she left this and the other Voltron set, which I'll get out in a second, to me. So this is the original Cats. Oh my god!
Awesome.
Oh, careful with the box. Careful.
Oh, Jesus!
Jesus, careful. Please don't destroy it in front of us.
This is
Don't handle when drunk.
And
Do not handle when drunk.
This is our fault.
I blame myself.
I went. I did. Like, okay, lads, did I go to the loft or not?
You did.
And you've done
carry
very
on,
well.
carry on.
But you know, can I just say,
Alright.
you've perhaps shown one of the most epic pieces of 80
That's an
memorabilia
incredible
ever.
80s toy. Incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact
It's-
you've still got
it's
it
not-
boxed in there.
Well, it's not. It's a well played. It's well played with. I wouldn't say it's like mint or anything. It's what the polystyrene is like.
Talking
like
about
But you're
knackered.
holding it intoxicated.
The box is knackered, right? Here we go. This is the Voltron family that they portrayed on the.
I remember that.
packaging,
What was the name of the big one? Did the big one at
Oh,
the back
wow.
have a different name? Oh God, a piece fell off.
Oh, Jesus. It's like you're watching.
It's a box. It's a box. Don't worry.
It's fine.
So
Everything's
Helen
fine.
Potter.
Jedi mind checks would work on us now, mortal.
Is Andy? Andy, is this
Yeah.
the big one you talk about?
Oh my
That
God,
big
you've got that one as well.
Oh,
Big King
My
Bulldog.
favourite bit was when you opened it up and whacked yourself in the face with the front.
wait there. There's a price. There's a price from the
Oh,
80s.
I can't see that. How much is it?
It says 19.99.
Oh my God. Although, what would that be in modern
Oh,
money?
yeah,
It's like
brave
a kind of a
Rohan.
chainsaw, isn't it?
Yeah,
dear.
so this is it. And these the connection waters are fucking hard to actually get on off. These days the plastic does actually wear a little bit, like the connection, like you shove it in, you pull it out. It's like it's not the good, you know. I would, you know, if
What are we
my
talking
sex
about
life
again?
was well, again, the whole point, right, is that if my sex life was like that, I wouldn't I wouldn't live very long. It does give you a very good companion. It gives you the whole 15 bots, right, to make a one Voltron toy, right? It gives you that. The whole thing's polystyrene, as you can see in here, right?
Yay.
Yeah. So, and this thing's, yeah, it's intact. This is genuinely, I've literally nipped into my loft, got it down. Had my kids go, quick, grab this box, sorry, quick, catch.
I think you win,
And,
Alexis, because those are two incredible toys to bring back down, and also because you
And,
survived, which I think surprised all of us.
Well,
Yeah. Wait.
my nan wins, right? Because my nan bought toys. She also bought us the what's the Mantiforce, and she bought
Yes,
things. She taught us chess. She taught us things like that, right? She taught us backgammon and things like that. And she realized we were getting bored as children, right? As a grandparent, so she bought us toys like this and the Mantiforce and things and the Red Venom to spend time with us as well, alongside when we had long weekends. So as grandparents, I would say, do the things you want to do, but also do things that push children as well, like we did. So I've learned chess and backgammon, all things, but I've also picked up this sort of stuff, and it's well loved. So I really appreciate my grandparents, my nan, and I hope everyone else does as well. So love you all.
That was a beautiful moment. Thank you, Alexis. Those toys are epic. That's amazing. One day I'm going to come to your house and I'm basically going to rob everything in your loft because it's literally like an 80s toy store up there. It's incredible. Except there's no Carnivac, you dirty liar. Anyway.
No, there isn't. It's
Oh,
weird. There
we'll
isn't.
have to buy you one just so you've got one. So we can say you've actually got one finally. Right, where are we? Oh, is it discussion time? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
This
I think
obviously
it is.
segues beautifully into it. And there's a discussion video we normally play, but we might not today.
We now return to the Transformers.
Bloody do. So it's time for discussion time, and our discussion is about vintage toy stores. So we've already mentioned a couple; they may come up again, and we're just thinking about vintage toy stores that we know of that you might like to visit and pick up some incredible figures and toys. And also, if you're in the chat, can you tell us any vintage toy stores in your area where you live, you know, that we might not have heard of, that we might want to go and visit if we were wherever the hell you live?
Yeah, give
So-
a shout out and in the forums and on Twitter and Instagram.
Hell yes, yes. So does anybody want to start off? Anybody got I mean, Jamie, obviously you've already mentioned Leicester Vintage Toy Store, which I think is one of the more well-known ones in the UK. Is there anywhere?
I think a good starting point, I think, for anybody in the chat is, you know, the video series that the Leicester Vintage Toy Shop guys put together. You know,
Yeah.
when they went on the toy shop on tour, and you know, they went around all over the country, and even took it into Europe. I think they're also saying that they're going to the US in the summer.
Yeah, they've done
they're
Toy
going out
Store
to
on
Texas.
tour, haven't they?
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I think they've already
And
been over to the US once before, haven't they? Didn't they do a little bit of a tour there?
so
Are
they were
going
going
back?
to do. So they did a crowd. I think they did a crowd fund, and then
Yeah.
Corona hit, and then it was COVID, and
Oh, so they didn't get to go.
No, so they had to put the blocks on. So
Ah.
this is that trip now.
This is the moment.
This is the moment. But I think there's. I mean, I'm looking in the chat now.
Yeah,
definitely
I can see
a couple.
some already coming up.
Galactic Attic in Cardiff, I think was.
I thought you said
was
Galactic
definitely in
Acid more.
Well, Cosmic Toys in Dewsbury from XLA and XLR. He's mentioned that, which apparently is run by an old pal of his. Is it Gareth? Is that the name of him, Brad? That's interesting. I didn't know there was one in Dewsbury. I lived down in Leeds for so many blooming years. I'd have loved to have found some more vintage toy stores down there. Cosmic Toys, we just mentioned Galactic Attic in Cardiff for all of our Welsh brothers and sisters and everything in between. So thanks, Ed, for that. Vintage Toy Monster in Portsmouth, way down in the wilds of Portsmouth. I mean, do you guys have a lot of vintage toy stores in the areas where you live, like relatively close to you? Because where I live, I don't know of many, if any.
You know, I find it hard because being a young man, you know, I'm quite hip.
Obviously.
And I go to all the new trendy places. So to go around
where all the silver foxes go.
I know. I mean, my hair there.
Tiger.
You know what, Pete?
Help me, agent.
See it TF Yuki corner. I'll let you touch my hair, Pete, so you can experience what it's like.
It's been so long. It's been so long.
Can he borrow
Talk
it?
about nostalgia.
We'll swap you over.
But I do think, you know, vintage toy stores that often seem to be far out the way, and it's hard to sort of go there, and it can also be quite intimidating. I think the Leicester Toy Store is a wonderful experience, but the guys are loving, they're understanding, they have a genuine happiness with this. But I've been to some vintage toy stores, which, you know, some which are quite known and advertising Facebook and stuff like that, where it's complete arsehole, you know, and it's just like, you know, fuck off. I'd rather spend my money, you know, in somewhere else, you know, and I don't understand. Yeah, and I don't understand that type of sort of attitude, because, you know, you've got a love there. You're going there. You're going to ask questions. Your questions might be stupid because you're not a fucking expert on these things. But, you know, sometimes it does feel like it's cliquey, but it shouldn't. It should be cliquey from the little nerd in the Twitter and Facebook. It shouldn't be cliquey from the person behind the fucking till. And I don't like that type of attitude. And sometimes you're thinking to yourself, you know, just because I come into a vintage toy store, don't fucking treat me like dirt, you know, because I come from a different environment which should fucking make you cry, you know.
Go on, Jamie.
And I fucking, you know,
Jamie, are you reliving this right now?
Oh yeah, I've already thought out different scenarios. Do you know what I'm going to put people on the list? He's
the moment it stopped being funny and actually became quite scary.
but yeah, so taking away from that,
Jamie, I've changed my mind. Forget list of vintage toy stores. I'm taking you to whatever toy store that was, and I want to be there when you go.
But no, I love Leicester Vintage Toy Store because it's brilliant, guys. I think they close about 4, so you've got to go there early. Plan your day, because sometimes these stores do close a wee bit early. It's not like the other stores, but what do you mean they shut at 9? But you know, they do close quite early, and they might have a bigger lunch as well. But, you know, there's good pubs around Leicester Vintage, so that's brilliant. Fantastic curry houses around Leicester. You know,
yeah,
Leicester. I don't know why I was called it Leicester Vintage. That's not its name, Leicester City. But you know, awesome. And you know, and I think that is the cool thing. And I think there's been places in Cambridge and Oxford, there's these sort of like toy stores, and sometimes it can be a genuine toy store, but they'll have vintage stuff, you know, because it's an independent, and then maybe not have that web page link. So it's kind of like a hybrid as well. But I think the best thing is if you can get your mates together, you know, go to some sort of far out location which you normally wouldn't be able to go to because it's too far.
Yeah, I think that one thing for me, is, as I mentioned, it's where they are. I think you'll find a lot more of these type of stores. Not always, but you do tend to find them more in the larger cities and things like that. And it can be a bit frustrating. But you also sometimes find out about ones you just never heard of. So there's one called Forever Retro, which I think is Bradford, which again would have been easy for me to drive to and everything. But I just never knew it existed until recently. And they've got a Facebook page. And like Jamie said, it does make a difference if you can find a store where the people who run it are genuine fans as well. They're proper, let's be honest, proper nerds and geeks like we are, and they bloody love their toys. And you don't want to be going in there and have somebody talking down to you, or, you know, somebody can't be bothered to talk to you about them if you've got a question about the figures. Of course you've got a question. If you're going to drop 250 quid on a vintage toy, you want to know.
I mean,
that
sometimes
it's all right.
some of those toys are like £700 price tags on.
Oh,
them,
yeah,
even more.
yeah.
Like Fortress Maximus would easily go for about £1,000.
Which one?
I remember at Leicester Vintage Toy Store, they had a G1 Fortress Maximus, but some of the parts had been Frankenstein together, hadn't they?
Encore,
From
I
I think
think.
from the Encore one. So that
Yeah.
was right. It was 700 instead of like 1,700 or whatever they can go for at the moment. But it's the fact that they were very upfront and they explained the reasons why, and you know. But you could easily, I mean, you know, if you're after one, and it's really hard to get it for a lot less than.
I like to add to what Pete said, Ray, which so birthday boy here. We have toy shops like that around our way. We have very limited. We have game stores, like board game stores. So you can either go to like Warcraft stores, or which again gets you like Magic the Gathering, or you can go to there's one in Reading which is really cool. Pete, you know, Eclectic Games, which is down iconic Smelly Alley in Reading. Which check it out, guys. It's a really cool store. They do a lot of board games, and I go there a lot to buy
Hold your breath
board
as you're
games,
walking into the shop, though, because it's called Smelly Alley for a reason.
It's not as bad.
I thought that was a nickname of an ex-girlfriend.
So it used to be called Smelly Alley,
Thank you very much.
back in the day, because it was where the fishmongers went, and now it's called, and now it's still named that, right?
It's all the same train of thought now.
again, right? Yeah. So
Fishmongers,
back
good morning, old ladies.
And then I guess like Naughty's, right? It was called Smelly Alley, because there was still fishmongers there, but there was a lot of weed sellers. Like,
Bring in the girls.
It's called legal weed. So you just get a lot of
legal
smoke.
weed.
So
no idea what
legal weed.
An illegal weed. Anything outdoors is pretty much an illegal weed.
Anyway, I'm not gonna say names of things, right? There was like, well, anyway, right? It smelled of smoke or fucking, you know. And Eclectic Games is, you know, now it smells of just like the technology, because all you go down there is you get technology stands, you get different people who want to say technology. But the shop is still there. I go down there to actually play Magic the Gathering for pre-releases and things, and they do a lot of cool board games, and they do things like Master Universe as well, and there's other franchises that do that.
See, I should do that, because I just go to Chinatown and get free cake, and that's my big downfall. You know,
I love the cake.
I know.
I get free shit. Wait, I get free shit. Pete, did you get free shit? I didn't get free shit.
Yeah, it's because I tried to speak some Chinese. Fuck up.
I mean, Alexis could try that too. I'm not sure it would go as well.
Hang on.
Cancel the show.
They probably say, stop speaking Cantonese. You can't do it, Jamie. I can't. I'll speak louder.
Is that why they give you free cake, so you'll stop doing it? Just eat it.
I'm only mimicking what I see, you know. I'm like, oh,
oh dear. Well, did we have any other suggestions in the chat? I think somebody said something about there's one in Doncaster apparently.
All
the cool stuff has been mentioned as well.
Everyone's asking Encore full match. How much is that worth? I'm interested because I've got one.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because the cheapest I've seen one go for, I think, was about £400. But they in Leicester Vintage Toy Store, they were selling this one for 700, and it was a mixture of the original G1 with parts that were Frankenstein from an Encore.
So Ed, to your mention, I've got one in my left. I paid $235 for it on eBay back in 2002. I want to say it's been in my loft since I realized I couldn't display.
Was there an
properly.
eBay back in 2002?
Why?
I
think there was.
Just let him run with it. Just let him run with it.
Oh, that's a good question.
No, I bought. So back in like
Have you never
early
played it
90s.
then?
I tried buying.
Fuck
the
off,
G1
Dave, in your
things.
coffee shops. Pub. That's where you want to be at.
I tried
take it
buying
personally,
the.
He's Russell riled up about the other shop.
Next to be talking
Right,
about his tea cake collection.
Calm
The
down.
Glaswegian's coming out of it.
I tried buying the.
So in the south, we do
Yeah.
have Nerd Base and Rage Retro as well.
Where are they?
They
Other than in the south.
They
'Cause
are.
that's everything
en
south of
route.
Sheffield to me.
They are on
Exactly.
route. So
south,
I did.
south of the wall. South of the wall.
Are you about to throw that keyboard?
I was just going to say what's...
Rage Retro.
We did a bit of a toy shop on tour for my 40th last year. So it was on the way back from Suffolk.
year.
So it's like Essex way. Nerd Base is quality. It's like vintage toy shop, but
Do you know
With
what?
strippers.
If I won the lottery,
steroids.
that would be an idea. If I won the lottery,
Is that good
I'd
strippers?
swear I'd open up a proper toy store, but I'd sell everything at cost. I just wouldn't make
With
any money.
strippers,
That's why I wouldn't need. All right, Jamie, with strippers. Although I'm not sure how that'll go down with the kids. Some of the
Are the
dads won't
strippers at
mind.
cost? Are the strippers at cost, Jamie? Because I don't know if there's a business model here. Toys are at cost, but full price for strippers.
I was thinking about paint strippers, but
So was I.
Pete, how could you take it that way?
So was I. Hang on. Why are you insinuating otherwise?
Oh dear.
All right.
Apparently,
are we
Dave
done?
just like
we
a
done?
tea cake.
Are we done?
I think
Are
we're
we
pretty
done?
much
Anyone
done,
else?
aren't we? There's a lot of vintage toy stores out there, and if you get a chance to go to them,
There's a
support them. Unless they're assholes. Well, there is, but
Yeah,
they're scattered in places nowhere near me, and that's
Yeah.
deliberate, I think, to annoy me.
Any final thoughts, Jamie? Any final thoughts from you, sir?
Yes,
well,
you should drink
to be
less.
quite fair, I mean, if Dave likes his coffee shops and tea cakes, you know, who am I to stand?
Don't you
in
put
the
him on the
way?
list? Don't you
Yeah.
do it?
No.
You be the bigger man now,
No.
Jamie.
No, you're done.
Oh, Alexis
Oh,
has now
dear.
put himself on the list.
Pete,
I mean,
Alexis.
Alexis muted me.
Don't bring out this
asking
last
me a
week.
question.
Don't do it. Don't you do it.
You know, but,
Oh,
Poke
you
the
in
bear.
trouble.
but I do think he's right, though, in the sense if you're going to go to a place like that, plan out the locations you want to visit. Keeps us shut for the day. So because
Yes.
remember, these are not chain
Yeah.
stores. Some things might come up. So if you could arrange to go to a place and there's three other
That's Jamie, I
places you
love.
want to see, then you're going to come back a winner in some respect.
Yes. Andy, from
Go
you,
on, Pete.
anything else?
Oh, sorry, Pete wants to say something, so let's let him.
Oh
Let's
no,
let him go.
well, Pete, we're going to end with you, mate. Your birthday boy, you get to.
Alexis,
to-
let
you get to-
Pete speak.
Alexis
No,
was
no,
become
no.
the host.
Yeah, what's going on
Pete,
here?
You get to say last word, Pete. You hold your words. Andy?
Yeah, Pete, what did you want to say?
This is becoming very traumatic.
Every week, Pete. This is.
I've got PTSD now. I just wanted to mention TF UK Con next week.
Yeah, boy.
Oh yeah, oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andy,
Andy, stand up.
A
TF
gathering
UK
Con.
of some of the finest collecting minds of the UK.
Stand up, Andy.
And us. We'll be
Stand up,
there.
Andy.
Stop
Pete,
saying
talk.
stand up. Put the banner on. Where's the banner gone? 13th of May. So if you're still undecided, come along. Come and join us. It's only £35. We've got some incredible guests there. We've got people like Jim Sorensen, Chris McFeely, Simon Furman, us. We will be there in the evening if you are staying, for the evening festivities.
Pete will be there.
Pete will be there. You can meet the man himself and rub his head. He'll love it.
No,
Don't
you
even
won't
have
go
to
there.
Fiction burn.
Just do that. He absolutely loves it. Or slap him like that. He loves it.
He's very tall.
Oh, yeah.
He's very tall.
And if you haven't experienced a Drunk Alexis live in the flesh, now is your time. 13th of May.
We're trying to sell tickets, Pete. Let's.
What time does it kick off on the Saturday?
Oh, now you're asking a question. I think isn't the first panel from around 12 or something like that? I haven't seen the timings for him. I just know who's there.
Could I answer the question for the people who are going on the Friday night? 2
Yes.
o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Is that the question for when drinking starts?
Jamie, what was the question? Sorry.
When does it kick off in the morning?
Right.
I think Jamie's making the point that those of you who've been out on the Friday night may struggle to make it for an earlier start than that, as was the case last year.
Right.
But yeah, it is a fantastic event, and it is much more low key. And if you're a little bit intimidated by our drunken buffoonery, just understand that you won't see that till later in the evening. But we're okay until that point. So please, if you'd like to come along, contact Primetime Toys, the banner telling you all the information you know, and then come along
It
and
starts
join
at
us.
10 a.m.
Is it 10?
To the moth. Yeah.
Oh my God, the day is going to be so packed with fun. I cannot believe it. And it'll go all the way till 9 o'clock when the last hour will be filled with all of us.
Or
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. As has been discussed many times. But afterwards as well, you get to sit and have a drink with us, enjoy yourselves, relax, chill out, if you can make it into that evening.
Right, everyone,
epic tales of adventure.
Yes, we shall tell you tales.
Peter, happy birthday, mate.
Thanks, sir.
Happy birthday, Pedro.
Good night, everyone.
47. You don't look a day over 50.
Oh,
prick.
You know it. Right. So let's wrap this up then. So that is the end of episode 171 of Transformers the Show. Thank you for joining us. If you've made it this far, God bless you. And we will be back next week. Oh, no, we'll be back next week. I don't think there is a show next week, is it? We might have the recording of what we do at the event.
Until then, we're holding out for a hero.
We are. Exactly.
How about that?
I feel like I'm involved in a power struggle.
Have a good weekend, guys.
The struggle is real, Pete. The struggle is real.
Next week,
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Make a move extreme. Shortcut to your dream. A road straight to the stars on that flying thing. Get the snow blind game. Pick a tune, chick a boon in the world beyond. Got a beat, got a heat on the invisible bone.
Thanks again. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Love you.